Have you ever wondered why some people develop schizophrenia or autism and others don't, even in the same family? Scientists have been asking the same question for decades. Today I want to explain one of the most promising answers we've found so far, a set of genetic switches called Wnt responsive elements. Before I can talk about Wnt responsive elements, I must explain what a gene is. Think of your DNA like a massive cookbook for building and running your body, similar to the central dogma analogy in the picture. Your genes are like individual recipes inside that book that get followed to make a specific dish. However, only 2% of your DNA is actually recipes. The other 98% is full of switches and knobs that control when, where, and how loudly those recipes get read. Wnt responsive elements are exactly like those control knobs. Wnt is a chemical signal your cells send to each other, especially during brain development. When a Wnt signal arrives at a cell, it's like a key turning a lock. That lock opens a set of those genetic knobs, and suddenly certain genes get turned up. This system is critical for building the brain correctly before you're born. Here's where it gets interesting. When scientists compare the genomes of people with schizophrenia, autism, and bipolar disorder, they keep finding changes in the same regions of DNA, specifically near these Wnt responsive elements. It's not one broken gene causing a problem like most people would assume. It's similar to a faulty dimmer switch that affects the lighting of an entire room rather than a single burned out light bulb in a lamp or light fixture. This overlap tells us something important. It tells us that these three conditions may share some of the same biological roots, even though they look different on the surface. No single gene causes schizophrenia, ASD, or bipolar disorder. Instead, hundreds of small genetic differences near Wnt responsive elements each add a little bit of risk, similar to how many small cracks can cause a bridge to collapse. Understanding this overlap could change how we treat these conditions. If schizophrenia, autism, and bipolar disorder share a biological pathway, a treatment that targets Wnt signaling might help across all three. It also reminds us that these conditions aren't chosen by the people that have them, but rather that they're the result of a complex biology that isn't fully understood. So the next time you hear someone say mental illness is all in your head, you can tell them yes, it is, because it literally is. That mental illness exists in the genetic switches that shaped your brain before you took your first breath. Thank you for watching, and I hope you enjoyed my presentation.